Adam West rose to superstardom when he portrayed Batman in the campy 1960s TV series. Yet once he put on the masking cape, he would never really be able to take it off again, and Batman would follow him for the rest of his life. Later in his career, when he scored top billing in a new film, he would behave very oddly on set, leaving everyone stunned. Adam West was born William West Anderson in 1928 in the city of Walla Walla, Washington State. His father was a farmer and his mother a retired opera singer and pianist, who had abandoned her dreams to raise her family. Growing up in such a small, quiet town, the young West dreamed of a life beyond his family's farm. He told his father that when he finished school he would go off and pursue his fortune in Hollywood. When he was only 15, West's parents got divorced. This was the start of West moving towards bigger things, when he left the countryside and moved with his mother to Seattle. After finishing high school, West attended Whitman College, majoring in literature with a minor in psychology. Here he would hone his voice in speech and debate teams, a skill that he would later use in his acting career. Shortly after finishing up at college, West was drafted into the U.S. Army to serve in the Korean War. However, he was lucky and didn't have to serve on the front lines, instead being given a position using his talented voice as a radio announcer for the American Forces Network. This role was an important step for West, as it allowed him to refine his distinct and resonant voice, which he would be known for later in his career. After his time in the U.S. Army, West worked as a milkman for a while, and he would also marry his college sweetheart Billy Lou Yeager. However, the decision to get married young may have been a hasty one, and 6 years later the couple divorced. Perhaps needing a change of scenery, West decided to pack his bags and move to Hawaii to chase his dreams of working in television. Hawaii's burgeoning television industry in the 1950s, although modest, offered opportunities for newcomers. Although it wasn't yet Hollywood, it was a perfect place for him to familiarize himself with the ins and outs of the industry. He would find his first role playing the small part of a radio operator in the 1957 film, Voodoo Island. But his first real gig would be in a Hawaiian kids television show called the Kini Popo Show. Here he starred alongside a chimpanzee named Peaches, before eventually taking over as the host of the series. While progressing in his career, West also came across something more, another chance at love. In 1957, West married a woman named Nagata Karua Frisbee Dawson, a dancer from the Cook Islands. Yet, despite the great life he was building for himself in Hawaii, Hollywood still remained his ultimate dream. Now with a wife and children, West left Hawaii in 1959 and finally moved to Los Angeles. Here he officially changed his given name William West Anderson to a stage name and what we know him as today, Adam West. The name change was a strategic move, as Adam West had a sharper and more memorable ring than his old name, and would help him stand out in a very competitive industry. With his new name, it was fitting that his first roles were in westerns. He played guest roles on multiple ABC shows including Sugarfoot, Lawman, and others. Although his career was now growing well, uprooting his family from Hawaii had not been easy for them. In 1962 his marriage fell apart, though West would remain a dedicated father to his children. In 1963, West played a minor part in the comedy Soldier in the Rain, and only 1 year later he played a role in the sci-fi epic Robinson Crusoe on Mars. But in 1964 he landed a big role in the pilot episode of Alexander the Great, starring opposite William Shatner. However, as it turned out, the chemistry between the future Batman and Captain Kirk was actually not great. The historical drama aimed at epic storytelling, but West's reserved performance clashed with Shatner's more theatrical style, leading to a lackluster production. Aside from their chemistry, it turned out that the episode wasn't very good either, and the studio shelved it. Oddly enough, in 1968, both West and Shatner had become big TV stars, and the network decided to cash in on their fame by rehashing the episode into a made-for-TV movie. West, now way past this moment in his career, was not impressed and later admitted that, quote, "It turned out to be one of the worst scripts I've ever read, and it was one of the worst things I've ever done." While filming the spaghetti western The Relentless Four, West recreated a moment from Batman's origin story. While riding near a cave, he unwittingly spooked a colony of bats that flew out and swirled all around him. Although he didn't enjoy it at the time, later on he would reflect on this as his bat moment, a sign of his next big career move. While filming a commercial for Nestle Quick, West caught the attention of the producers for an upcoming show, Batman. At 6 feet 2 he was literally the exact same height as the Caped Crusader from the comics. Although it seemed like a trivial detail, it gave him a presence that few others could match. Additionally, his handsome features and ability to balance heroism with self-aware humor made him the perfect fit for producer William Dozier's version of a more colorful and light-hearted Batman. Early episodes of Batman were met with immediate success. The show, which premiered in 1966, became a cultural phenomenon, capitalizing on the 1960s fascination with pop culture and vibrant aesthetics and making West a household name overnight. The show had a unique format, airing 2 episodes a week with cliffhangers, keeping audiences hooked. The series had bright color, exaggerated villains and catchy fight scenes that were popular with both children and adults. As well, West had great chemistry with co-star Burt Ward as Robin, which contributed to its appeal. As a result, the studio immediately began planning Batman the movie. However, to reprise his role, West wanted more screen time without the mask as Bruce Wayne. Although he loved donning the mask in the series, he often felt that he wasn't displaying his full acting potential. He wanted to be seen as a versatile actor, not just a superhero in tights. The studio agreed and the production was on. Batman the movie was released in 1966 and featured Batman and Robin against a team of including the Joker, Riddler, Penguin and Catwoman, with Catwoman having a romantic subplot with Batman. West's Batman was campy and light-hearted. For his part, West didn't try to deny the absurdity of it all. In one scene, Batman punched a quite fake-looking rubber shark. The producers were concerned with the sound the shark made when punched, but West just rolled with it and ended up making one of the most memorable moments in the film. Although West was definitely one for practical effects, on some occasions these were more risky than fun. The bat pole launcher, a device that propelled him up the pole, often caused him actual pain. Pressurized steam shot directly under his cape and sometimes even caused him burns. The Batcycle, the iconic sidecar that Robin rides in, could also be dangerous. Apparently when jettisoned from the main bike, it didn't always go where it was supposed to go and on one occasion even flew into a patch of thorn bushes. Although Batman's costume looked cool, in reality it was quite uncomfortable. West often quipped humorously that 2 million silkworms were required to produce it. The attire was very itchy and uncomfortable and the costume's cowl also restricted his vision, making fight scenes rather challenging. With the release of the film, West and his co-star Ward participated in a tour around New York City on a special bus. The plan was to visit 36 different theaters around the city and meet as many fans as possible. As it turned out, they only made it to 33 theaters as fans kept swarming the vehicle. Fans of all ages clamored for a glimpse of their beloved hero. However, the Batmania nearly got out of hand when at one point they almost tipped over the bus. This frenzy showed just how much cultural impact the show was making. As the success of the Batman series made West a household name, he often struggled with the spotlight. The pressure of fame as well as the demanding filming schedule, often requiring West to shoot 2 episodes a week, was taking a toll. It wasn't always easy to deal with the instant fame and he later admitted that there was a lot of drinking and womanizing at this point in his life. Although Batman was a huge hit, by the end of season 3 the show was struggling in the ratings. The producers proposed a shocking plan. Get rid of Robin and introduce Batgirl as Batman's new sidekick. West was not happy about the idea and pushed back against the studio. However, in the end they didn't just get rid of Robin, they cancelled the show altogether. Although West was now no longer playing the Caped Crusader, Batman stayed with him in another way. He was typecast. He tried hard to reinvent himself with his first gig post-Batman, playing a cynical tough guy in the 1969 noir film, The Girl Who Knew Too Much. The film flopped and it seemed that audiences couldn't get past seeing him as Batman and Batman only. Although his career faltered, West was able to rebound in his personal life when he was married for the 3rd time to fashion designer Marcel Tagan-Delier. They had 2 children together and would be happily married for over 46 years. She helped him find peace in his life now that he had moved on from Batman. Despite his newfound love, West struggled with his fading celebrity. With less and less acting offers and being unable to free himself from his image as Batman, he fell into a depression. To cope, he turned again to the West, was bitter about his diminishing career prospects, convinced that the cape he had donned had ultimately hurt his career. He would eventually come to a realization about his drinking habit, and with the help of his supportive wife, found the strength to pull himself out of the depths of despair. West realized that although his role playing Batman limited some opportunities, on the other hand, it gave him a special place in pop culture history, and that was something to take pride in. A great new opportunity came around when producer Albert Broccoli considered West to play the role of James Bond in the new film Diamonds Are Forever. Surprisingly, West would turn the role down, insisting it should go to a British actor instead. Now at peace with his Batman alter ego, West embraced it, making public appearances in costume at events such as county fairs and wrestling matches, even getting shot out of a cannon on one occasion. Although these appearances sometimes came across as gimmicky, they showed his good humor and willingness to connect with the fans. In 1977, the producers of the animated show The New Adventures of Batman asked West to return to the role and lent his voice. Although hesitant at first, he returned to the character that had defined his career once again. A little later on, for the 1987 film Zombie Nightmare, although West scored top billing, his cast members would be shocked by his behavior on set. According to reports, he was simply phoning it in. He didn't memorize his lines, often glancing at the script while shooting scenes and wrapping everything up in only 2 days. It was about as clear an indication as any that he'd lost interest in anything besides being Batman. Although shocking, his lackluster performance was likely a reflection of frustration with low-budget projects that failed to challenge him creatively, as nothing could really reach the highs of his role as Batman. Now in the twilight of his career, he took on less serious roles. In the kids' show The Fairly OddParents, he voiced a version of himself who was convinced he was still a superhero called not Batman but Catman and was obsessed with cats. Additionally, West played the eccentric Mayor West in the well-known show Family Guy, lending his voice to a new generation. This role, though smaller, delighted audiences and became a fan favorite. West continued voice acting until he died in June 2017, after a battle with leukemia. Although he was gone, he still remained a superhero for many adoring fans. In Los Angeles, as well as his hometown of Walla Walla, the bat signal was projected into the sky, a last tribute to TV's original Bright Night. Acknowledgements poured in from fans and colleagues alike, with many remembering West's warmth, humor, and dedication. After West's passing, Burt Ward, who had played his sidekick Robin, paid tribute to his lifelong friend, saying, quote, "There are several fine actors who have portrayed Batman. In my eyes, there was only one real Batman, that is and always will be Adam West." West's legacy in the superhero genre lives on today. The unique charm and comic book style in his portrayal of Batman was the perfect balance between humor and heroism. Although typecasted later on, his willingness to embrace these challenges and continue working showed true dedication to his craft and his fans. In the end, West being remembered mainly as Batman was not a limitation but a gift. If you enjoyed this Tales That Tell video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more incredible stories. Your support means everything to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.